because imagine, let's say, hypothetical, what if an intelligent designer or something made it intentional so that there isn't a test? Is that a possibility, you know?
Yes, it is a possibility, and that's why I'm at 1 or 2%. And that's kind of the deal, is that if there is no test, in my mind at least, if there is no test and there is no evidence, you should not believe it. Full stop.
Should I try spectrum? See if they want to do that?
Oh yeah, like
that'd be
that's a
interesting.
whole body of research. But I think like
take one
when
of
you look at it on
Oh,
a
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
each individual
Here's
person,
mine too. Here's
like
a little
there's
magnet.
obviously
Thank
the-
you.
I don't, Claire. There's
Thank you.
Are you guys all
so
friends?
much of the
I know Patrick and Easton separately.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
we're in choir together.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Would you guys
We have-
like to do a little group? What do we
That'd be
call
fun.
it?
Experiment?
Group experiment
Sure.
about beliefs?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm
All right,
down.
we need
now?
the cameraman. Yeah, right now.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. So, let's
Set
use
my
the
stuff down.
planter here.
All right.
Okay.
Each one. So let's say the
Some of my
planter.
stuff for yours, Easton.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, it's Evie. Hi, Evie.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, we talked to her.
Did you come by earlier?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. So this is neutral,
Okay.
and let's say that this, to you, this would be 0% confidence.
Okay.
You do not believe in the claim that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
This is maybe neutral, don't know. And this is 100% confident, way over here.
I love this shirt, dude. That's so freaking Thank you. $5 outfit. Absolutely. Absolutely the best way to do it.
Now, if you don't want to participate after hearing the claim, that's perfectly fine. No worries whatsoever. And the claim that disagree, agree. Yep. And I'll tell you the claim, and then I'll give you a countdown, and you can go wherever you feel fit to your confidence. The claim being that there is a creator of the universe, a thinking agent creator.
Wait, this is disagree.
This is disagree. You do not believe that to be the case.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hover right around there.
There. Okay. Cool. Maybe I should stand here, and maybe everybody should back up so we can don't block the walkway. I don't want to be a nuisance.
That's great.
All right. So I will start down here, and I'll just talk to you guys kind of individually. I guess. Why? Can I get your name actually?
Benedict is my name.
Benedict. Awesome. Pierce.
Benedict. Full name.
Okay.
Well, my full name is Benedict. Consisting of
Don't necessarily need the last names, but I mean it's okay.
the. It's a Neo-Ahameric name. If you've
Cool.
ever heard of like the peoples, these are Semitic peoples. If you're wondering.
Oh, that's gotcha. So you are at like 100% confident that this is not the case?
There is no. Like, I don't think that there is a God.
Okay, gotcha. And what gets you to this confidence level?
Well, I do not really think a God exists because, well, there's like multiple forms of evidence, such as, well, not just I wouldn't really say the theory of evolution is a theory. I think it's pretty much true as it happens with like all the birds on
Okay.
the Galapagos.
I guess could there be a creator of the universe and then evolution just happened after the fact?
I don't really think so that much.
Okay.
But if there is, I hope it can show itself. Sorry, there's a song sparrow flying. I love
Cool.
I love the little guys around here.
All right. So, gotcha. I'm gonna move down to here. So this is neutral. So you're at like
55.
55%.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So what gets you to the 55%? Why are you here?
55%. I'd say I'm around here because there's really no way to know if there is a creator or not, but just by the sheer fact of our being in existence while not knowing how we're in existence, so like it can't be scientifically proven how we exist, I think there is a slightly higher possibility that something outside of the known universe is in existence.
Okay. Gotcha. So I was talking to Ben down there, and he said that evolution seems to be the case, and that's why he's at basically 0% confidence. Is that compelling to you?
No, I believe 100% in evolution.
Oh, okay. And why? I guess why isn't that the case?
Why is evolution not different from?
Yeah. Why doesn't that lower your confidence to be closer to that?
Well, I'm not like Christian or not like man-made.
Yeah. Understood.
Yeah. So I don't think that there's any correlation even
Okay.
in that. I believe in all Big Bang, whatever, everything. Just that maybe the spark could have been from something else.
Okay. So there could have been a creator that sparked everything, and then evolution was just kind of after the fact, not really related.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
believe in like the loving, benevolent, whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. And let's see. We got. You're at what, like 45, 40?
45%, yeah.
Okay. And
I mean, okay, let's just say evolution is true, alright?
Okay.
That doesn't mean that there isn't a God.
Okay.
That's why I'm more towards the middle, right? You could say that evolution happened and there's no God. Or you could say, you know, there's no evolution and there is a God. But like, you can have both.
You can have both?
You can have both.
Okay.
You can have a
Gotcha.
God.
I guess why are you not at neutral?
Okay, so like from a young age, my parents kind of just fed me religion, like always go to church every Sunday or whatever. So I'm kind of like, I didn't want to go, so I'm like, I don't think that might be a little bit of a factor there, but you know.
Okay, so you didn't really wanna
Go to
go.
church, kind of
Okay.
participate in religion.
Okay, so
Kinda
that-
get spoon-fed that.
I'm wondering how that correlates to your 45%. Is that
Okay, so if your parents make you do something, you're not gonna want to do it.
gotcha?
So if
On
my
board.
parents make me go to church, I'm not gonna want to believe in God.
Okay.
So I'm more towards.
Okay. Gotcha. I guess.
Call that stubbornness, but you know,
Gotcha.
that's kind of my way of thinking about it.
I guess, is that the best way to? Is that a good way to determine?
I suppose it's not. From an individual standpoint, it's a good way for me to understand why I don't believe in God. But from a societal perspective, I don't think my beliefs are necessarily what's going to dictate other people's opinion on it, right? So,
Gotcha. Cool. And you're at what is it, 75-ish?
Yeah, sort
Okay.
of. I'm in a very similar boat with you. Remind me your name?
Chewin.
Chuan. Okay, I'm in a very similar boat with you on that one.
And what's your name, by the way?
I'm Jane.
Jane.
Yes. I went to church growing up, but it was a very, very... Okay, for reference, my youth pastor was transgender. It's a very liberal church. People are confirmed as atheists there as well. Like, you can be confirmed as whatever you need. You can be reconfirmed as... I was confirmed as agnostic, which means I don't personally know my beliefs, or I'm subject to being okay with changing them. I don't... At this point in time, I don't necessarily believe in a God. I'm not a very religious person, but if I had a strong reasoning for believing in God, like if I found some evidence or something that I thought that I would, or if somebody who I trusted, who was very close to me, said, hey, I think this because this and this and this, I'd be open to hearing those, and I would be open to possibly changing my opinions, but for the time being, I'm not. Yeah.
What could change your opinion in your mind?
I don't know, because it's hard to tell with sort of, a lot of times people are like, oh, show me a sign, and then they'll just notice that thing more so I don't necessarily think that would help
Like a
me.
confirmation bias?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, I don't know, I think it would have to come from people, other people around me who I trust and I'm close to.
And why are you here and not at a neutral?
I don't know. I don't really know. This was where I felt like I should be standing. This is
Okay.
sort of where I felt I was in my mind.
That's
I
fair.
don't have an
I
exact
guess,
reason for that.
should we have a reason for our I guess being here, does that mean that you have at least some degree of confidence, maybe 25% confidence that God doesn't, or a creator doesn't exist?
I am a believer in evolution. I am a believer in the Big Bang and everything, like Easton was saying. I think that all of that is true. I'm not super sure about how it all started. You can never be sure.
Yes.
So that's why I'm not completely yet. I completely disagree.
So kind of for the same reason as
Yeah.
Ben? Okay, but not as
Yeah.
strongly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Remind me of your name.
I'm Patrick.
Patrick. I don't think I ever asked, actually. That'd be why I didn't know. And are you at 100 or 0 or?
I'm gonna put myself at like for a healthy. Oh, that's loud.
That's okay.
For a little bit of healthy margin, I'll put myself at like 1 or 2%.
Okay, gotcha.
I think I actually am at 1 or 2% for the same reason that Ethan's at 55.
Yeah.
When we talk about a creator just as outside of a social so like a social religious context, and just put in the context of like, could there have been some sort of being or event that started the universe? We can't have 100% certainty. We can, like, scientifically, we can look at a bunch of we can look at up to the Big Bang, essentially. And before that, we can't really study anything because all of the energy that was released from the Big Bang is essentially whitewashed everything that was before that. Just boom, gone.
Gotcha.
And so you could make the argument maybe there was something that caused the Big Bang.
Yeah.
We don't have any evidence for that. We don't necessarily have evidence against that, but I can say that I have no reason to call whatever that thing is. I don't see a reason to call the progenitor to the Big Bang God.
Okay. Should we be at you said like 1 or 2, I think?
Yeah.
Should we be there? Or since we don't really know either way, which I think is what you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, like we don't really know either way?
So what I'm saying is that when you look, like, if you just talk about God as there was something that started the Big Bang and then nothing after, then you could say, well, like, there's some uncertainty because we just don't know. Mm-hmm. But to me, when you make a claim like God exists, that if you go by like scientific method, the burden of proof is on you, and you have to say God exists. Here's why. Here's the evidence that I found that suggests that.
I guess, is there a burden of proof saying there is no God?
No. So the thing about it is that you cannot prove something doesn't exist, especially when the existence and the subjects of that existence are like subject to change. Because God, I mean, there's thousands of different interpretations of what a God is.
Yeah, and I kind of had one very vague one for the claim, but yeah.
And so when you look at, like, I can say there are unicorns in my shoe. And you can say, no, there aren't. Look in your shoe. And I'll say, oh, they're invisible. They're tiny and invisible and you can't see them, but they're in there.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be demeaning with this. This is just kind of a extrapolation.
Understood. I can agree with that because it's kind of funny that some people, like, they say, like, they will probably say the same exact thing for like a God, and then the thing is that I find it funny when people like say when I say like there is no God, and then they turn like saying like he's invisible, but I'm like one thing I have to say, I dare he to strike me down as what I say.
Well, I think part of the thing about God, I mean, I position myself from like a social perspective. I'm very not even atheist. I find myself anti-theist in that I think like religion, organized religion, has a lot of really, really harmful effects. I think it can lead people to be really insular and spiteful. Okay. And in general, I think it does more harm than good. Okay. My roommate is a religious studies major. Like, this is what he spends all of his time looking at. And we've had some really good conversations about that. And so when you look at it from the perspective of some people view God as this is an emotional, personal, intimate connection that I have with something out there, and it's not something that can be quantified or written down or pinned into a specific definition. And that's how people define their spirituality, their understanding of
He's gonna bounce back here.
Yeah, absolutely.
From what was said back here, was any of that convincing or appealing to you to shift your confidence?
No. So I actually agree with your statement on the harms of believing and having the organized religion. I think that's led to it has led to a lot of bad things, especially like war and stuff like that. So what I don't believe in organized religion. Personally, I think there could be something, and I lean a little bit towards that, but other than that, I know nothing. No.
What could I forgot your name already?
Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick. That's right. What could Patrick say that might shift your confidence, or Ben, or any one of?
I don't know if anything that anybody else can say, unless they bring up a different point, I guess. But nobody else knows. Nobody's gonna have an outside perspective
Okay.
of what there actually is.
So it's kind of like something that we can't create a test for. Is that what you're saying?
I would say so. Yes, we can
Okay.
have ideas and for or
If-
against, but
If we can't create a test, where should we be on the scale?
so yes, 50% if there's no ideas towards one or the other, I would say. But for me personally, I find, like I said before, the idea that we don't know and there's no scientific explanation to what has caused everything, I think that leads to the possibility that there might be something more,
Okay. Gotcha.
which shifts me a little bit.
I'm gonna ask the same question to kind of all you guys. I'm just sorry for looping or combining all you guys, but you're all on this side versus that side. What could
Easton.
Easton what could Easton say that might be convincing to shift your confidence in this direction?
I mean, I know Easton personally, so I'm more prone to listening to what he has to say and like being able to feel like, okay, this is believable. So I think if you had like hard evidence that like something, I don't know, like if you took a video and there was a ghost in it, I'd be more likely to believe you than someone else who I don't know. I'm not sure where my beliefs
Would the
lie.
ghost would you end up on that side of the planter if he had a video of a ghost?
I'm not sure. I'd probably still be on this side, maybe just
Okay.
a little bit closer to center.
Okay, so you take like maybe
Yeah.
one step.
It's interesting because I think I agree with all of their points, like
Okay.
pretty much exactly like how they said it. I'm like, yes, okay,
Yeah.
I fully agree with this. We're just all in different.
Ironically,
sort of-
it sounds like a lot of you guys said. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name again. Yes, I'm so bad with names.
No,
I should just
it's
stop
a
using names.
compliment.
I think maybe with the exception of you, almost everyone said something very similar. I asked Easton, I got it,
There you go.
and asked him this question of where we should be. Does anybody? I don't think anybody here thinks we can have a test. Does anybody think there's a test that we can conduct to determine for absolute certain either way, or a degree of certain?
If I say Jesus come forth and he comes forth, hey, I'll believe.
Yeah.
That's true,
Okay.
that's
But if it-
Okay, that's true. That's true.
That's true. I think that would be a test where you could confirm. I
Yeah,
suppose
right.
maybe confirm. But if that doesn't happen, does that mean it's not true?
I suppose so.
Okay, cool. So we kind of all agree that there's not a test that we can perform. I guess where should we be if there's no test we can perform?
Where we should be.
Yeah, on the
You
scale.
should go to the other side.
Just wherever you feel.
No, what?
Let me think about this for
Yeah,
a second.
that's
I'll tell you.
perfectly fine. I love that.
In my mind, at least, I mean, I'm very like I try to be very fact-based and very like oriented in just what we can see and prove and look at. And so when you say there's no test that we can perform, and so if there's no way we can give any proof to the affirmative, I think we should be right about here, 99, 98, where you have that openness where it's if somebody. I think that's the thing. If Easton provided me with a genuine miracle outside of any of our understanding of science or existence or anything, if he could just point and have a skyscraper appear, I would be way down there, because that's like, we have no explanation for that. I'm sure if scientists came in and were like, this skyscraper spontaneously appeared, they would find no scientific basis for that.
Yeah.
And so but again, it's that if I have hard evidence, I'll move. But by the very nature of kind of anything like spiritual, it's hard to provide like hard evidence that can be repeated again and again. We
Yeah,
have
hard
no
to do a
test.
test, right? Exactly.
And so,
exactly.
in my mind, if we have no test and there's no way to perform a test, we should sit here at 98 or 99% sure of no until somebody can provide a test.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of agree with him.
Okay.
So like, we already proven, there's some evidence of evolution.
Yeah.
So if there's no test that God exists, we should lean more towards what we already know, right?
Okay. Wait,
So I
can
would-
you restate that last part? I'm not sure I caught it.
So if evolution is true, right, and we know that it does happen, right? But we can't prove that, there's no test that God exists. We should lean more towards what's logical.
Okay. We should lean more towards this
Yeah.
way rather than a neutral standpoint. Okay, interesting. If the claim was something different and unfalsifiable, would you still lean in this direction?
Can you give an example?
Ghosts existing.
I mean, just because ghosts exist doesn't mean God exists.
Right, no. I mean, if you were to put yourself on a confidence scale for ghosts existing,
Right.
would you be in neutral or would you be right here? Or over there or wherever?
I feel like that's a little bit different.
Is it? Okay. Can you test for ghosts?
Well, not really, no.
Can you test for a creator of the universe?
No.
Is it different?
But there's no, ghosts aren't I don't know. So, it brings it back to, evolution, right? We could say, we're here because of evolution, not because of God, but there's no direct correlation with that of a ghost. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
So, we could say God created us, or we could
Yeah.
say evolution
Yeah.
created us.
God. Well,
But
yeah.
how would
I mean,
ghosts
could someone
be?
believe in both evolution and God?
Yeah,
Okay. Sure.
like I stated. Yeah.
And then I guess with ghosts, they're. I'm having trouble understanding. I apologize. I'm not picking it up.
No. Okay. I don't know.
You want to think about it?
So, God created humans.
Mm-hmm.
What is that in ghost terms? How does that relate? Us?
I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know. That's not a claim that I believe.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody. I mean, maybe some people claim that ghosts help us or something, or help us along in life. Maybe that could be something. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're watching over us.
I don't know how that would relate to.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So-
I'm trying to pick up what you're putting down, but I'm kind of. I'll think about it, and I'll come back to you. We can talk in a moment. I know you were burning to say something.
I
here.
was, and now I forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
come on, man.
I'm sorry. I think it was something about what Patrick said. I can't remember though. It was something with the confidence level.
Confidence level.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I
exactly
think we
what
were
it was.
talking about being on that side of the scale towards 1 or 2% because we don't have a test.
I don't think a test necessarily means that it's any less likely, because imagine, let's say, a hypothetical. What if an intelligent designer or something made it intentional so that there isn't a test? Is that a possibility?
Yes, it is a possibility, and that's why I'm at 1 or 2%. And that's kind of the deal, is that if there is no test, in my mind at least, if there is no test and there is no evidence, you should not believe it. Full stop.
Lack of belief or have confidence that it is not
Lack
the
of
case?
belief.
Lack of belief. Is lack of belief
Lack of belief
here?
is a complete lack of belief to me is 0%.
Okay.
50-50 means there's equal
Interesting.
chances that a God exists versus a God doesn't exist.
Let's try to recalibrate here.
Yeah.
Where do you think lack of belief on this scale is?
I'd say if you don't believe, I was thinking 50-50 because you don't know one or the other. If you believe that it doesn't exist, then I'd say that's 0.
We maybe should have calibrated the scale a little bit better at the beginning. Okay, so in his opinion, you're actually right here. Both of you guys, perhaps. Ben, are you lack of belief?
Yeah, I'm a full-blown atheist. I've been like that ever since I was, remember going to this Catholic school, and I absolutely hated it because I thought everybody there was on drugs.
Oh,
I even thought of that when I was a kid because I thought everybody would have like imaginary friends or so. And then I remember how much I absolutely hated going through church because I thought of it as a waste of time. I don't care like what people would say about like, I don't know, like going to church or that. It'll be a lot different if like it would be it would be extremely different if like where I would be or so, like in
Sure.
like besides the United States of America.
so which statement would be more true to you? There is no creator, or I lack belief in a creator?
There is no creator
Okay.
because I would have to, well, unless he's too smart enough to like not zap me with lightning, and if I do get zapped by lightning, I would definitely might believe. Or maybe it just might be some kind of coincidence. I will probably still not, because it's a very small chance of us getting zapped by lightning or some spontaneously combust. There has been chances of humans spontaneously combusting, and no one knows why this happens.
Right.
And make it worse is that the chances of that is extremely slim to none.
Gotcha. You have something?
I would just say that my view on that, having like a firm stance on there is no God, is that you can't. I mean, my whole basis for that is like you can't prove something's false.
Yeah.
You can't prove something doesn't exist. It's not possible to say, again, there are no unicorns in my shoe. There are no fairies or ghosts or anything. You can just say there is no evidence to support it. And so to me, saying when you have no evidence to support it, that indicates a 0 or near 0% confidence, because like a lack of belief is it's the most disbelieving you can have. To me, like the idea of at 50%.
Interesting. Like, I think Ben actually might take it a bit further. I think he might go beyond that lack of belief. So, I mean, can you have a further?
The thing is, I think you can, but I think I believe it is a fallacy, personally.
Okay.
It's for the same reason is if you look at the scientific method, and if you're looking at just what can we prove, how do we say something's right or something's wrong, or we say something's not true by running a bunch of tests and not having it show up. And so we can say in all the tests that we have, nothing showed up. And if nothing showed up, that's a lack of belief that the X or Y exists. For me, 50-50 is like a coin flip. You could say that it's equally likely to me. That's what 50 means to me, is it's equally likely that God exists and God doesn't exist. And to me, I don't think it's equally likely at all. I think it is virtually 1 or 2%. It's virtually impossible.
I guess if we don't have a test, how do you know the likelihood either way?
It's exactly that. Because we don't have a test, because there is no evidence, I say there is almost 0 chance, because
Interesting.
we have no way of suggesting it. And so if you
I'm gonna go back to these guys for a
absolutely.
moment. Was that compelling to either one of you guys?
No, I think to believe that there is no evidence for, and thinking that that's 1 or 2%, you would need some type of evidence against. Do you have any evidence against?
Oh, absolutely.
How so?
The evidence against is the evidence of nothing happening, essentially. Evidence against just means that you found that everything runs in accordance with a bunch of laws that make sense and follow physical descriptions.
And I personally believe in those laws as well. I think so. What God are you thinking of?
Any God. Any sorry, not even a God. I'll go.
You guys can actually just move closer if you want.
And like any supernatural.
You can be here.
I'll let y'all cook.
To me, it's like any supernatural entity. Anything. If you define it as supernatural, it means it exists in a way that is unexplainable by by human understanding. To me, do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay.
So then,
If we do a bunch of tests and we look at a ton of evidence and we look at tons of videos and find all of this, we look across the world and everything that we find is explainable by human laws, or when we find it's not explainable and we dig deeper, then we can find an explanation.
Yeah.
To me, every time we find an explanation for something that is explainable, that is evidence that God doesn't exist.
So I believe in everything that you believe from the Big Bang.
Yeah.
And then before the Big Bang, science can't explain. Nobody can explain. We don't know what happened before.
We don't
the Big
know.
Bang.
Exactly.
And that's
why you should sit right there.
That's why it should be.
No, because what you are saying at 50%, to me at least,
Yes.
you say there's equal likelihood before the Big Bang that it was created by God or it was random chance, right?
But how does random chance exist in a universe that doesn't exist?
If I may interject,
Yes.
are you actually saying that there's an equal chance, or are you saying you don't know
I'm saying there's.
what those chances are?
I would say, well, I mean, yeah, you technically can't find the chances. But to me personally, I would say around near 55%.
Okay, so you think it's slightly more likely there's a creator?
There's something else, yes.
Like, what makes you believe that there's a slightly higher chance?
There's a slightly more chance?
Yeah.
Because in our known universe, there's no explainable laws or anything like that that can describe how the universe came about.
Okay.
So I think it's slightly higher likelihood that something outside of our universe is reason for that, rather than a law that we don't know about yet.
Okay. I'll let you respond. Absolutely.
I think the reason or the kind of argument I have for the opposition of that is that everything that we have found operates under observable cause and effect, essentially. The whole idea of just like causality, every cause has an effect. Absolutely. And every effect has a cause. And so when we're looking at the expansion of the universe, you're looking at gravitational laws, you're looking at like space-time.
I wonder, does that matter to you?
That does. That goes back to the Big Bang, right? Cause and effect. What caused the Big Bang? That's the real discrepancy here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so when I look at it and you say everything after the Big Bang has had a cause and effect, as we understand it, it has some amount of interaction that we can measure and observe and figure out how it works. Why then do we believe that before the Big Bang that necessarily wasn't true? Just because we can't measure it yet.
Okay, because we didn't have the universe before the Big Bang. There was nothing, so there was nothing we knew of. How did that come into effect? If chance didn't even, random chance can't even happen.
Can we agree that we don't know? Is that something that we can agree on? We don't know what possibly could have caused the Big Bang, if anything, or if there was a cause.
I mean, there's theories
we're on the same
that
page.
the universe is cyclical as well. Yeah,
But we
absolutely.
really
So
don't
we really
know.
don't know.
And we don't. Do either one of you guys have a confidence in leaning one direction or the other as to what that cause is?
So my viewpoint on this is we don't currently have a cause. We have some ideas, and there are some people that are way smarter than any of us that are doing some insanely detailed work on trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
But my view is if we don't have a cause, we don't know, we shouldn't make claims about things that we don't know. And so not making a claim is saying we don't know, and we're not going to ascribe something to it. But claiming that there is a chance that God created it, that's a claim. That's a claim that you say there is a 55% chance that God created it, when we have no evidence of anything about what actually created and caused the Big Bang. Okay. And so since we don't know, we shouldn't make claims.
But isn't your claim that there isn't a God?
No.
No,
Then
if we recalibrate the scale and how you're interpreting it,
Okay.
he's right here.
So he is at 50.
I'm at
Okay.
51. Sure.
Perfect.
But
Okay.
the thing about that is, to me, it's again, everything at your end of the scale, everything left of 50%, everything over here is not possible. If you're going about it in a logical manner, there is no logical reason to ever be left of 50.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because again, you can't disprove something. You can't say this doesn't exist. That's not possible. You can't prove the non-existence of something. You must prove the existence.
The existence, right.
And so if you don't have any evidence for existence, you're at 0 or 1% in that. There's a slim chance, but we have nothing for it, right? And so anything left of 50 is a logical fallacy. It's saying I have some evidence that disproves it. We have evidence that disproves a bunch of the claims that different religions make. Like if we look at like Zeus and Hades,
yeah.
we have claims like no, we know how lightning happens. We know why storms happen. We know, well, not exactly, but we know generally like how oceans work. We know there's not Poseidon, not Zeus, and so we have evidence to disprove certain religious claims.
Right.
But you can't say no, there is nothing supernatural at all, because then the response is, well, I have a personal connection. You can't measure it, but it's there.
Right.
And so, if you can't measure it, to me, you're at 0 or 1.
Right.
So I guess my whole deal is like, if we don't know, we don't have evidence for anything, that means that we shouldn't make a claim that God does exist. So the baseline should be non-belief. That is the base that we should all start from. And then if you can find evidence to believe in something, then you can go up. But if your baseline is non-belief in, say, we can use a different thing. Like if your baseline is non-belief in global warming,
Right.
it says I don't have any evidence to suggest this, and then you're provided a ton of evidence to the positive side.
Exactly.
You can go up. You can say yes, this 100%. We know what this is caused by. We know what's doing this. We know why it's happening. We have huge statistical evidence that says this is happening. You can go up, but
if you don't have that evidence, you should remain at neutral.
At neutral, right? Yeah, but you can't say no. Global warming as a concept doesn't exist because we have. I mean, one, we have evidence that the Earth is heating up. Yeah. But
is this compelling at all?
It is interesting, thought-provoking. Okay. I gotta think about or rethink through everything.
Okay,
that
fair
was
enough.
a lot of stuff, but
has it caused you to shift more towards the neutral, or are you just kind of thinking about it?
No, I'm thinking about it right now.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that could be a problem.
No, because I've thought through this my whole life. I was raised Catholic with a lot of different influences to think about the Christian perspective, and then realizing, oh, there's so many fallacies, this really doesn't work, and all that. And then
You saw that there were unreliable methods being used.
Yes,
okay.
And then obviously all the harm that it was caused, like what God would want, something that causes so much harm to be in existence, and then came to what I would consider myself now as like more theist, believing that there might be something.
Agnostic theist, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Like, absolutely, if we find that there wasn't a God, absolutely, I'll be right there, you know, or that there isn't a God. So the different, that was one thing. You saying me at 55 means that I can't be anywhere to the left or anywhere below 50, is that what you're saying?
To my system of beliefs, in like with how I like to look at like existence and proving things, to me it's a fallacy to be left of 50 on when you're talking about the existence of something.
Left meaning
you believe you have disproved the existence of something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You can disprove causes, and you can disprove evidence that people bring in, and you can disprove like details, but like you can't disprove existence, if that makes sense.
You can't prove a black swan doesn't, or actually, well, you can't. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can't prove that there is not a rainbow swan somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
You can't disprove that, because I could say, oh, we just haven't found it yet.
Yeah.
And so, but my view is that until you find it, you should be at what is to me 0 or 1%, saying somebody believes this, they have no evidence. Maybe we'll find evidence in the future. Maybe there's studies going on for it. Until then, I'm not gonna put stock in that idea.
Right. Yeah, I think the only way we actually can have like beliefs one way or the other is like evidence suggesting evidence, I guess you could call it, throughout the world, what you find.
Should our evidence be only suggestive, or would you want to have evidence that's reliable?
You would, yes, that would be a test would be that reliable, is what I'm saying. But things that are saying, okay, this might be evidence towards one way or the other. So it would be grounded, but like not something that completely proves a way. So like, for example, like the idea of like consciousness, how we have consciousness and individual consciousness. Is scientifically unproven how that works. So that's one way that I'm slightly tilted, but like absolutely that could one day we'll be like, oh, this is how that works scientifically. And then that would probably shift me a little left.
Okay. Well, I think this might be a good time to to wrap it up.
Yeah.
This is awesome. What did you guys think about it?
I thought as a method of like freeform
Sorry
discussion
for not including you.
and just like analysis and getting different viewpoints, I thought it was a really good discussion.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I thought so too.
Awesome.
What was the original question?
Um,
The God?
believe creator exists. Created the universe.
And then what was the scale?
Scale was you believe that is not the case. You believe that is the case. Neutral. And then we kind of recalibrated it. I think you had an understanding that that was more of what I described as neutral, but that's
I
okay.
mean, I think
we
went through all that.
We went through all
It's
that.
different
ways
ways
of interpreting.
Right. Beliefs and how you measure that.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
right
makes
on.
a lot
Right
of sense.
Like I think still if you we'll leave it.
Yeah, we can leave
this
it.
could go for hours.
It
It's
could.
never.
And I want to get Matt an opportunity. I don't want to take up the whole day.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That was great. It's just a chill conversation.
It was
Sweet.
really good, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
You guys feel free to take each one of our cards if you want it. There's a magnet right there. Water, fruit snacks. We got everything.